maximum music authority, Hits FM, on 92.1 in the north and 91.1 in the south. It is now time for the program I Write.
I Write. St. Lucia's latest radio drama.
This man is making me crazy. I cannot deal with this.
With benefits, I Write.
I just can't with all of these responsibilities.
Every Monday.
I hear the too. And you perpetuating them kind of nastiness.
St. Lucia's latest hot radio drama.
Of course, I want to say a beautiful, wonderful, beautiful Monday evening to you. My name is Mr. McCarry, and of course, I am joined by the lovely Miss Della this evening. Della, good evening. How are you doing?
Good evening, Roger. I'm good, thanks.
You're good? Nice, great, wonderful, blessed, and of course, all the rest. Right, that's right. And of course, it's the grand finale tonight. That's right, the grand finale of St. Lucia's hottest radio drama, the program I Write. And of course, the numbers to call when it is the appropriate time: 758-458-2488. I'm more excited than you all. The WhatsApp number 758-489-4781. And of course, we're bringing you right now, the grand finale, episode 21 of the radio drama series I Write.
Previously on I Write.
Court is in session.
Clark, what do we have today?
The Queen versus Lincoln George of La Clerica Streets. The last time I told you I didn't want anything to do with you and any of your zeze.
Stephen, you do not know what you're talking about. You think I don't know about your escapades with little Miss Goody Two Shoes?
What are you talking about?
All this time when everybody thinks people is your friend, people helping themselves to people's property, and that you and Louis have been carried on in your little dirty little secret for all those years?
The point?
The point, my dear Stephen, is in your point. Evan shoots blanks. And Trudy, in fact, is not your godchild, but your very own daughter.
Cynthia, open your bloody mouth and say something. Get me out of this foolishness.
Lincoln George, regardless of your circumstances or your special upbringing, you have absolutely no right to inflict bodily harm or mental harm to any other. Your indespicable manners have brought you to this place today. Look at your wife, Mr. George. Look at her! You have made her to look less than human. Bail denied. This court is adjourned to August 14, 2019.
What?
Your Honor, can I say something?
Your behavior throughout this case has been exemplary, which is far from what I could say for your other counterpart here, Mrs. George.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Don't thank me just yet, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
How many years have you been married, Cynthia? Can I call you Cynthia?
Yes, you can,
okay.
Your Honor. Well, we have been married for 25 years, and actually our anniversary is today.
Wow. 25 years. And has it been good?
Yes, for the most part, Your Honor.
What do you mean for the most part?
Well, our marriage is normal.
Okay.
We have the same issues every couple has.
So why are we here?
Well, he hits me.
And was this the first time he hit you?
No. It's been a while since he had started that.
And why did you decide to do something now?
Well, Well,
Cynthia, you can be strong. This is a safe place. He will not harm you.
but you know the kind of person he is. You don't know the kind of person he is, Your Honor.
Cynthia, look at him. Look at him. See? He would not harm you.
Okay.
Do you need a minute or so?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
But I just need you to know that you're fine. You will be okay.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
Are you ready to go on?
Yes. Okay.
So how did you two meet?
Well, it was not how ordinary people meet, Your Honor. You see, my mother, she forced. I'm sorry. My mother caused Lincoln to take me, Your Honor, as his wife.
You have a rather interesting selection of words there, Cynthia. Forced? Take you?
Yes, Your Honor. We had made a mistake and Lincoln had to marry me, or else.
Or else what, Cynthia?
Oh, nothing, Your Honor.
Nothing?
Yes, nothing. It's just that Lincoln is loving and kind and harmless. It is only when he is provoked that he behaves irrationally.
And do you know the reason for this, Cynthia?
I remember a long time ago, he mentioned that my mother had given him something to do something. I'm not sure. But from since that time, I noticed that his attitude towards me changed. Yes, it changed, Your Honor.
And you don't know what that something is?
No, Your Honor, I don't.
Well, here's the thing, Cynthia. You know, sometimes in marriage, mothers-in-law always have some kind of role in relationships. Sometimes they're the ones who set off, the conflict between the two people. But that still does not give him the right to use you as his punching bag. Is that so, Mr. George?
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes?
Can I ask that a favor be granted to me today, since it's my anniversary and all?
What might that request be, Cynthia?
Well, I was wondering if I might spend the anniversary of Lincoln today.
Are you serious, Mrs. George? Absolutely not.
Please, Your Honor, please.
Listen, I started this hearing by saying I am proud of you and the strides that you've made to free yourself from this abusive relationship. Don't let me change my mind. Many women who find themselves in this predicament do not come out alive. You, Cynthia, are lucky to be here today.
I understand, Your Honor, but you see, I was thinking that...
Cynthia, don't.
How come nobody come by yet to tell me about that case? Not know why they're waiting. Nobody never tell me nothing. That man has always been... Lincoln, I know how to behave himself, eh? I tried to warn him about his wicked ways. Me nom, tet your wed pass your wash boy. And don't ask for that Stephen fella. Watch him. Eh?
Mrs. Agatha Thomas.
Hey, castle up boiler.
Mrs. Thomas, open the door or we will break it down.
Hey, I come in. Sayena, point down. What you all want?
Mrs. Agatha Thomas, you are under arrest for...
What? What madness? Sofu! Stop! Let me go! Let me go!
Well, I do not know how I was able to live like this for 25 years, huh?
Yeah, But happy anniversary, Mommy.
Wow, today's the day?
Yep. Today was that day. And where is Daddy?
Yeah. My anniversary at Lincoln is not there. Where is he?
It's okay.
Yeah, Daddy should be here with us, but he's so...
Listen, let's not be panning away. Daddy had his chance.
And Ma, what really happened? I didn't know things were so bad between the two of you.
I tried to tell you, Ev, I tried, but every time...
You were so busy with your struggles, too blind to see.
Well, Eve, you know the struggle is real, eh?
Yes, but what goes around comes around, Evan.
What? What are you talking about, Mommy?
Oh, stay out of it, Kina. Let them thrash it out.
Evan, you do not have to take my job.
Eve, sister, I did not take your job. You left, remember?
Evan, you did not have to take the job. Now, look at you.
Hey, you see the two of you? You are going to five that now.
So that's why you'll have the boats for so long?
Girl, you don't know nothing yet.
Kina, Eve had the job. She just could not keep her mouth to herself.
I was drunk, Kina.
So what happened?
I made a mistake.
A deadly mistake.
Because of your orientation, you were fired?
I was not really fired. I left.
So why? What happened?
She kissed a girl.
Okay, and?
Not just any girl.
A guest. I was drunk. We were all dancing and actually it was the guest who kissed me. It was clarified.
And that's why she left. Boom.
We are not allowed to carouse with the guests, and although it was not my fault, I know I would not win the battle, so I just left.
You know, I tried my best to keep this relationship and this family together.
Mommy.
Yeah. Lincoln, why? Why, Lincoln?
Mommy, it will all be fine. I mean, for too long he had you suffering under these abusive hands.
Yes, but it was not always like this. Something happened. Something changed along the way.
Mommy, still he's a horrible person. I'm going to get something from my car. I'll be back soon.
If don't talk about your father like this, as if he's dead. Huh?
But Ma, I'm so sorry. I don't even know. How did I not realize any of this?
It's not your fault, Ev. It's not your fault, my son. I am the one who should be saying sorry. You see all the hurt I put all of you all through? I should have known that perpetuating that abuse, it would have affected you in one way or another.
Mommy, I keep telling you that this is not your fault. Daddy has a mind of his own. He takes full responsibility for his actions.
So true. You are so correct, Kina, my girl. Well, I guess the abuse is over now, huh? But I must say thank you to you all my children. You see, for all the support you have given me. So, I guess it's just us now. Me and you for that celebration.
But if Daddy is found guilty, that's 5 to 10 years, you know. Where Daddy going to go when he comes out?
But where's Eve?
Not in the car, she says she going there.
Yeah, but so what's taking us so long?
Where can I put this thing? I can't take this. What's going on in court there right now? I can't do this alone. Dear Lord God, I come to you this day with a heavy heart. There is so much pain around me. I don't know where to turn. Never in a million years did I think my family would be in this place. My father. My father, Lord. How he can hate me so? How could he be that way? And my mother, Lord. Father, you have to help her. Give her the strength that she needs right now, Lord. God, you made me who I am. I praise you and love you. And I know you don't make mistakes and I am made in your own image, but when people call me those names and treat me like it hurts so much and I feel so ashamed, please, God. Help me to remember my own goodness.
Let me remember my dignity which you gave me when I was conceived. Be with me when people make fun of me. Help me to respond how you would want me to, with love and respect, but also let them respect me. Help me find friends who love me for who I am. Right now I can't help but wonder, will I be an outcast forever, Lord? Is there any peace in this world for me? No. Others have gone before me, breaking from the pain, the judgment, name calling. I can understand why some choose to. No, I can't think like that. No. Jesus was seen as an outcast too. He too. They beat him, spit on him, and yet he loved. So I know you understand me, and I know you love me. I know that nothing is impossible with you. I just ask for a little peace, Lord. Please. I need you. Who's there? Who's? Oh my God!
Oi, officer.
Spraga, how many times we warn you already?
Drop me a gun, gather. Ow. Sometimes.
Yes, sir, Spraga. We have no choice but to take you in this time.
But officer, I was just helping a lady.
You always helping a lady.
But she asked me for.
She asked you for nothing. You just feel like helping yourself to what is not yours.
Well, I'm sorry. I will not do it again.
You sorry? Spraga, you always sorry. But this time, you went too far. You hit the lady.
But they hit me in my face, Gasa.
The lady was defending herself. She has a right to defend herself against people like you.
But Gasa, I was a little drunk.
Please, sit down there and chill. They coming to you just now.
I see I hit him. Who that day? If that man looking like the boss man, Lincoln, S.A. I say the man that day.
I make no noise there, Spraga.
But what the hell are you calling my name for?
Yo, Lincoln.
That's officer to you.
Officer? Kasa, you looking like something different.
What? Spraga, you have respect for me.
Respect? For who? And you're just like me.
Yo, Officer 3210, cellmate, respect me. I A is equal.
I A is equal? Taman say he A is equal. And we go in the same damn place. Boy! Officer, what you do?
It's none of your damn business. I am an upholder of the law. I have put many people like you and worse behind bars. I'm not supposed to be here with the likes of you. Some malpop, I bet.
So, wait. Me calling them names? I may be malpop, but I ain't stupid, huh? Pastor, you mean tell me his woman finally squealed on him?
Not hair sprags.
Sorry. Oh, Bossman Lincoln. We're going together this time. Both of us. The boys are waiting for you, you know. Oh, if now you go see who's smelling, you will right all the time, you know, Bossman. But right now, we see the court, you'll be afraid.
And there you have it. Episode 21, the last final episode in the first season of the radio series drama. The radio drama series I write. I'm making so many mistakes tonight there. Yes, so why we start? Good evening again, Della. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Well,
it's the season finale, Roger.
Yes, it is. It is. A few things come out there that kind of have me in shock. I still can't understand. Trying and
Roger,
wrap my head around.
We still having you in shock after so many episodes.
Yeah, I kind of freak out on certain things there. But anyway,
I think that's a good thing, though, that we can still have you in shock and create all of that suspense.
And imagine, I did not listen to the episode before because I wanted to be just like everybody else.
Very good.
In suspense. But I want to start off not with Lincoln, but with Cynthia, and the fact that even in the courtroom, Cynthia, with all the support that she's had, with the fact that she is now going to get a little bit of soulagement and get away from Lincoln, she still wants to spend her anniversary with that same man that was beating you for 25 years. You asking the magistrate permission to spend anniversary with Lincoln? Mr. Kiwi. No. I want to hear your views on that because I have a few things I would like to say, but let me hear you first. Yeah.
Okay. I will say, like I've said before, domestic violence is a psychological issue, Roger. It's not something that you just walk away from, and it is not just women, it's also men. It's somebody was telling me of an experience they had where they watched a woman beat up a young man, and all he kept saying was, I love you, while the woman is breaking blocks on his head and on his back, and all he's telling her is
breaking blocks on the man's head and back.
I love you. So it's unfortunately it's a psychological thing where you go through. It starts with the verbal and emotional, and then it eventually evolves into the physical, and it takes some time to be able to walk away from that. But before we even go into anything else, I want to say today is absolutely the perfect day for us to have our season finale of I Write, because today, the 25th of November, starts the 16 days of activism that will end on the 10th of December, which is International Human Rights Day.
People, you all hear that? International Human Rights Day. Speaking of that, but let me just go back to Cynthia, and I'll tell you a little episode that I had in St. Vincent on Friday. But let's go back to Cynthia, and I quite agree with you that after so many years of abuse, even when the help is right there in front of you, the hole that you have to climb back out of, that hole that you've been, that hole of depression and abuse and people calling you names, and your self-esteem is gone. You have to climb back out of that hole, and they could give you the rope, they could put the ladder there for you, they could take your foot and put it on each step. Sometimes you have to have the strength to climb the ladder also.
In earlier episodes, when she kept asking for the coconut to make the coupe, and he said to her, what contribution do you make to the house? And she says, well, the coupe doing something. And he tell her, what is her coupe doing? It's not doing anything. And not just that, in that episode also, after they had this discussion about her contribution, he beat her to unconsciousness. So that gets you to the point where you feel like you are nothing without that person. You cannot take the next step, you cannot wake up the next day, you can't achieve anything without that person. And it is very, very systematic, because persons who who engage in that kind of behavior, it doesn't just begin with one day they wake up and give you a slap. It's systematic,
yes.
and it happens over a period of time.
You know, I hope we're touching. You know, I'm just thinking of a young lady I know that was in a situation like that, and the abuse was very, very systematic, and up to a point where she was told that, you know, we're not compatible. You know, we're not compatible. And it didn't take an hour for her to say, I'm giving this person another chance. After she was fed up of the abuse, she was saying that she was fed up of the abuse. It didn't take her 1 hour to say, I'm going to give that person another chance. If I know I may be making a stupid mistake, but I want to see for myself.
But also,
and they always think that they could change the person. It's always that I can change him, I can change her. Go there. The person done anything there. They need to have to want to change.
Yes.
They need to have to want to change. We have a call coming in. Hello, good evening. You are on the air. How are you doing? Hello.
Good night.
Yes, good night. Good night. How are you doing?
How are you doing?
I am nice, great, wonderful, blessed, and all the rest.
Yeah, I'm a little cold tonight. Cold.
I thought the episode would have warmed you up there.
Huh?
I thought the last episode, the grand finale, would have warmed you up.
Well, not that kind of warmer.
Okay.
Yeah. I just tuned in, you know.
Oh, so you didn't hear the episode then?
Oh no, I didn't hear the episode.
All right.
So I just wonder where to start.
Well, we are talking about domestic abuse and the fact that, you know, even after a long time of domestic abuse, that, you know, people, you know, especially women, they find it hard to come back to, you know, to find themselves once again.
Well, you know, my grandmother was a very wise woman, you know. And I was very fortunate to have a wise grandmother. She was my coach.
Okay.
You know, she tell me, listen, grandson, never expose your weakness because they will use it against you.
Say that again.
Huh?
Say that again for me there.
Never expose your weakness because they will use it against you.
Okay.
She tell me into something. Affection is a dangerous weakness. Affection. Because, you know, the predator will use it against you.
The predator.
Yeah.
You said the predator.
The predator is the abuser.
Right.
They call predator.
Okay.
And, you know, we should identify the predators and don't fall in love with a predator.
Okay.
That's my advice to young women and also to the male also, you know, vice versa, you know? Because you could be in trouble. You live a life, if you want to live a life in hell, just fall in love with a predator. Because, you know, you are like a prey for him. And you become a victim of that predator.
But let me ask you, what advice would you give someone? You may know somebody, but what advice would you give someone, whether it be a man or a woman, to you know, free themselves of predators like that?
Free themselves?
Yeah, to get away from that relationship.
Well, remember, either they make themselves a predator too. You understand?
Say that again.
Either they become a predator.
Okay.
Because, you know, unless they are prey, they can't free themselves, you know. You know that?
I don't quite get you, but I mean, why would you want, after you are being preyed upon, you want to become a predator? Why would you want to do that?
Well, that's the only way to deal with a predator, you know.
You have to become a predator yourself.
Yeah.
To deal with the predator. To deal with that predator.
Yeah. Because they say when the going get tough, what happened? The tough get going. You know what I mean?
Okay, but don't you think that you know, the person should find, you know, people who can, you know, help him or her out of the situation, probably go to the authorities. So, you know, there are places where you can go to get help, you know.
To the authorities?
Yes, there are places where you could go to get help.
Well, you know, the whole system itself, I don't know, the system itself, they say there's no justice in the world, There's no justice.
Well, until you try.
Because I could remember there were a beautiful young woman, She's been a victim of a predator. A man that she had loved a lot,
Okay.
So she went to a policeman to make the report. The policeman went and, realized that the girl is a beautiful girl. And, he doesn't want to come in to the person's life. So what he did, he tried to get rid of the predator. But he said was a predator also. You understand what I mean?
I understand.
Because the girl is so beautiful. He tried to get rid of that predator so that he could come in.
I see.
And when the girl falls, he get rid of that predator. The police was a predator also.
Okay.
Come in the human life, So we have to be very careful, Sometimes we're seeking for help. Instead of getting help, the person is just trying to help himself too,
Okay then.
But anyway.
Yes.
Have a good night.
You too, sir. That's an interesting, but that predator become a predator.
I want to touch on two very important things. One, more than two. One, you don't have to become a predator to get out of your situation.
I most certainly agree.
Right? What the person does is wrong, and it's infringing on your rights as a human being.
That's right.
For you to reverse that situation would be taking that person's place. You don't have to become a predator for you to do something about your situation. There are services that are being offered. There's the 202 hotline that we've spoken about.
That's
There's
right.
the 203 suicide hotline that we've mentioned. There's the Department of Gender Relations.
That's right.
There's the Women's Center. There's Raise Your Voice and Lucia. There's the Vulnerable Persons Unit.
Yes.
All of these services are in place to assist persons who are dealing with domestic violence issues.
People, y'all are listening. Y'all are listening. The amount of places that you can go to. Listen.
And when we say domestic violence issues and we say gender-based violence, we are not just talking about women. We are also talking about men, and those services are available to the men too. Okay.
Go ahead.
Another thing that the caller mentioned was that to be able to resist a predator. Do you know Ted Bundy was an absolutely wonderful man when he came to you, but he was a serial killer. He had absolutely no feelings. He was a psychopath. And some of these people are the most charismatic and most wonderful people that you can come across until that part comes out. So it's very difficult for you to look at somebody unless you have some kind of inside information. It is very difficult for you to look at somebody and say, you know what, this person is a predator, I am not gonna get involved with them. So that is a challenge. You see this wonderful person, they're very nice to you, they in the beginning are loving and caring and take care of you and everything else until that moment comes.
Yeah, about 2 to 3 years down the line. Sometimes
it doesn't even take that
2 to 3
long.
years down the line, yes, that's true.
You know, and you end up in that situation. And the final thing that I want to talk about is that the same way we have supporters, we also have enablers.
That's
which
very
is
true.
what Matoto was,
I was going
right?
to touch on that.
We have enablers. I was watching a show over the weekend, and this young lady was trying everything possible to get away from this man who insisted that she was the person that he was going to marry and she's supposed to marry him. And she got these friends who eventually helped her get out of the situation. But her mother and her father came to take her, to bring her back to this person.
Yes.
And even though she told them that he hits me and he abuses me, they wouldn't hear.
Yes.
They wanted her to leave and go back to this person.
I think
so the same way we have supporters, we have enablers, persons who tell you stay, or persons who tell you there's nothing wrong with the situation, or make it look like, you know, you have everything. So what you upset about, you take a little slap here or a little punch, they die nothing.
Yes.
So we also have to be very wary of that as well. There are persons who will help us out of our situation, and there are persons that will help us dig the hole deeper for us to remain there.
That is very true. That they have a lot of that going around the place. Would you also say to that, you know, sometimes people who come out of abusive relationships, or they have to use force to come out of the abusive relationships, are more prone to go back into abusive relationships? Would you say that? Is it a yes? Is it a no?
It's all about support, Roger. It's all about having that support system.
Yes.
One of the biggest reasons why people, I will not say women, why mostly women, but why people stay in abusive situations is financial reasons. They will tell you, so what about the children? How am I going to take care of the children? How will I send them to school?
Who's going to pay my rent for me?
Exactly.
How am I going to pay my bills?
So when you empower somebody, they have a little job that they can send the children to school, that they can do all of, you know, these things for themselves and be a little bit more independent.
That's true.
And also have somebody, you know, if they have to work a late shift, somebody that can watch the children for them or something. This creates a very different scenario, and it allows the persons now to be able to walk away from the situation a little bit more confident, and that now will allow them the freedom to be able to stay away from it for longer. But
I think it also, you know, shows them that, you know, I really do not need that kind of thing in my life.
But
I have people who can check for me too.
But remember, we also said that it is also a psychological issue.
Yes.
So counseling and understanding your importance as a person is also very important in that position, in that situation, which would then help you not end up in that same position another time around, where you end up in might not be the same person, might be the same person, but end up in another relationship where you being used as somebody's punching bag again.
True. That is true. That is very, very true. You know, it just goes to show, you know, sometimes that, you know, the people that you surround yourself with, your friends, your family, even your family can be part of the enabling group that would keep you in that kind of relationship, just because they feel you are in a better place, or that person can provide for you, so you have to look past the person's abuse and the thing. Maybe it's you doing something wrong. They always telling you that. Maybe it's you that doing something wrong. That's why the person doing that. These are the little signs that you have to. These are the things that you have to listen to from people who claim to be. Who claim to be your supporters.
And we need to understand that when we did Apwe Plezi, which was another radio drama that we had in the 90s, when we went to the streets with scenes from Apwe Plezi, and one of the scenes that we did by the market was where this husband came home and his food was not cooked, and he started to beat on his wife.
Yes.
And after, when persons were questioned, they did not see anything wrong with the behavior. In the 90s, they didn't see anything wrong with the behavior, because in their head, he was out at work all day.
And
when
you were
he
in the
came
house
home,
all the time. There
he
was
was
no food.
supposed to find a meal. And so he didn't find a meal. He had a right to beat his wife.
But nobody asked any questions whether he had provided things for the meal to be prepared, or whether the lady was sick, or whatever. Nobody asked them.
It doesn't matter. She could have decided, you know what, today is just not a day that I feel like cooking, and that's her right. He had no right to hit her.
Yeah, there's absolutely no excuse for that kind of behavior. No excuse whatsoever.
There is no scenario that you can come up with where that should be acceptable.
Exactly. Family support. Again, we saw Cynthia after the court, the magistrate telling her, no, stop it. I am not giving you that opportunity. But she went home, and of course, the family was talking about the situation. And I think sometimes that is good for families, especially in these kinds of situations, for them to come and not cast blame and not throw it at you, but sit down and discuss the situation and how it happened and so on. And then we saw we heard that one of the family members, Eve, I believe she ran out of the house because she just could not deal with that kind of setting. She just needed to get away for herself.
It wasn't
to me, that's how I heard it, because when she started to open up and seek heavenly guidance, I figure she just didn't want to be in that situation, and she now feeling it now. Her father is not there.
But other than that, the conversation had moved away from Lincoln and onto Eve and her.
Yes.
We say a lot lifestyle, and I want to not categorize it as that, because we don't call it a lifestyle when we're speaking about heterosexuals.
No, we don't.
So why are we referring to it as a lifestyle when we speak about persons from the LGBT community?
That's right.
It's just that I would date a man and she would date a woman. Plain and simple. But I think she, was hoping in some way that she would have gotten some connection. There's this rift between she and her brother, and this rift is stemmed in her choice of partner. And I don't know, I think that was a bigger weight for her as opposed to what happened with her father. Because if you listen to her, she says, well, he had enough chances and he didn't do anything about his behavior, and so now he needs to suffer the consequences and sleep on the bed that he made.
Yeah, well, I agree with that, Lincoln. Quapo, smoke your pipe there.
Exactly.
And you hear what the partner tell you? We go in the same place and the boy is waiting for you.
Exactly.
If you make your bed, so that's how you're going to lie down on it.
And I know it's a process. It's a long process, and unfortunately, we really need to review some of the protocols that we have, some of the policies that we have in St. Lucia, because the process can be just as traumatizing as the abuse, and so we need to take some time out to look at the protocols that we have in St. Lucia, and the policies that we have, for rape, the policies that we have for child abuse, the policies that we have for domestic violence.
That's true.
We need to look at that. The fact that a husband can rape his wife, a husband can take sex from his wife and not be held legally accountable for it. We need to look at all of these things that we have in this country.
I need to interject here. I would hate to believe. I do not want to believe. I know it happens, but it cannot enter my head that a man would actually force himself on a woman. Where's the pleasure in that?
But Roger, it happens.
Why would you do so? Why?
In Dominica, there is something called corrective rape.
Oh, I've never heard of that one. Can you please explain? Listen. Corrective rape.
I am not talking about the Dominican Republic here.
You're talking about
the island of Dominica.
The one after Martinique.
Just after Martinique. You can take l'express deal and get there in a day.
The term is corrective rape. Yes,
there is a corrective rape where you are heterosexual, I am a lesbian. You will rape me because I've never had sex with a man. That's why I like women.
And they call that corrective rape.
Corrective rape.
That is wrong.
Of course it is. It is very, very wrong, but it is our reality. Imagine in 2019, we are just about a month shy of 2020, and we have a situation here where we figure that, it's because a woman has never slept with a man, that's why she likes women. So, maybe if I have sex with her, she will automatically want a man. It does not work that way.
It doesn't. Not at all, it doesn't. Corrective rape. Wow.
I was look through this whole project has been an eye opener for me and for the rest of my colleagues. And understanding the laws of our countries, our various countries around the Caribbean, and how discriminatory they are.
Very.
Not just to the LGBT community, but also to regular citizens. I marry a man, and because we get married, he can just take sex from me whenever it is he feels like, and the law is not going to protect me.
That is,
Come on now. We really need to rethink a lot of those things.
I believe this may not be the forum for it. This may not be the forum for it. But we sometimes like to think of it. We look at it in a marriage, that the husband takes sex from the wife, and it does happen the other way around.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yes,
and that is okay in the eyes of certain people, or in the eyes of most, if not all, people. Oh well, the woman take a thing, the woman take a thing. But when the man takes it, it's rape.
Well, it's do you know that based on the definition of, because this is where we first have to start,
the definition of rape.
The definition of rape,
yes.
a woman
cannot rape a man. But it was proven in Barbados, and I think I have the case file written somewhere in a book at home. As a matter of fact, it's in a health book at home. I must bring it.
So we need to look at all of these things. Like I'm saying, while yes, we are trying very hard to deal with the policies and to help the citizens of our country, we really need to look at some of the policies and the protocols that we have to ensure that we are not infringing on the rights of our citizens.
Yes. Oh shucks, the person hang up. But darling, you could call again and we will take your call. But yes, like I was saying this. Okay, we get in the call. Let's take the call. Okay, that's right. Hello, good evening. You're on the air. Hello.
Hi, good night.
How you doing?
I'm good. And you?
I'm just waiting for your comments and your opinions, and I'm not even going to ask you anything because I know you have a lot to say, my dear. Let's start with Lincoln.
Good night, Darren.
Good night.
Cynthia with her husband.
Say that again?
Cynthia has officially lost it together with her husband.
Oh Lord. But
they're just talking to you, they're just commending you on stepping up. You crying and want to tell you happy anniversary. What's so happy about the anniversary?
Well, the person is in love. That is the person's husband.
Let me ask you a question. Do you know that there are plenty of women in our society, plenty of women that we think should know better, that are in very challenging, and I would say challenging relationships, but they would rather remain in those relationships because society, the pressures of society dictates that a woman is nothing without a man, and so they will, you need to call me Mrs. because I am a married woman, and all of those other little nuances that we have in society that forces women to remain in those kinds of relationship and acknowledge those days that's supposed to be significant but has already lost its importance a long time before it even got to that point. They walk on the street every single day.
Yes, but let me tell you, she somewhere along the line
But do you think that it appears that there is some kind of hope for Cynthia? Let's look at the conversation that she was having with her children.
She no hope for her because the lady is commending her on stepping up, and she's saying and she's asking her to spend some time with Lincoln. What time is Lincoln? Not slaps you'll get from Lincoln.
I like the way you put that.
Slaps you get from Lincoln. So what's so happy about Lincoln? It's not like Lincoln in a hotel, and she asking for work time out from work to go and spend time with Lincoln. Lincoln in a jail. Lincoln in jail, and you're asking time. So
well, maybe she just wanted to tell him goodbye.
Yeah, I mean,
goodbye for what?
I don't know.
No, she wanted to spend, and she crying, like like it's something so much, like he's not her that and have Lincoln there, and she. Let me tell you, Cynthia, no, whatever. That's the second one, our cake burn.
Why your cake burning with the characters?
You can't let it, But again, it just goes to show, in societies such as ours, we need to now pay close attention to these kinds of things. Domestic abuse. You may have a sister or a brother or a mother or a father, and you need to pay closer attention to it, and you need to support in the right way, not to enable it, but to give support so that they can come out of such relationships and live a full life afterwards. Come back to that kind of life where it's full and supporting and fulfilling.
And
it looks like it's not.
You were saying? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, I was saying it looks like it's not the domestic abuse, mentally, all kinds of abuse in one, just mix up in one. It's just one big.
Yeah, it's a whole kalmajada there. It's a whole kalmajada.
Yeah, she getting it all how.
And I think it's going to be a hard road back for Cynthia. Unfortunately, it's going to be a hard road.
Cliffhangers for so on that. That end.
Oh Lord,
so many cliffhangers, and we saw Eve breaking down, crying.
Yes.
Now, when we speak about the LGBTQISTUVWS, anyways, so yes, when we talk about these people, we have to remember those people are humans first.
Of course,
they are humans first. They have feelings. They have feelings, and then we don't have to consider it, but we have to respect it. And the fact that she broke down, crying, saying her father her father don't respect her, and her father this and her father that. It's really hurting her, and it don't looks like she'll be crying some more, because it don't look like Lincoln will ever take her as his daughter. So she'll have to do some more crying, or just with how it is.
Well, I don't think the more crying is what should be here. I think what Eve needs to do is come to terms with the fact that that's how her father is. That's how he sees her. It is unfortunate that is how he sees her, and probably that's how he's going to see her for a very long time. She has to feel comfortable with herself. She has to, kind of say, something. That's how daddy feels. I still love him. That's my father. I still love him, but I'm moving on. I'm living my life. I think that's what needs to happen.
The station is no longer online.
Oh.
I want to bring up two things that you said, Roger. One, we're also brought up to believe that we must have both parents, or there was a meme going around recently that says single parent homes are not broken homes.
Okay.
Sometimes as a child you want to know that you have the love and support of your parents, right? The young boy who committed suicide in Dennery earlier this year, he had the love and support of everybody else around him.
But
his teachers, his classmates, his friends, everybody around him. He did not have his mother's. and that's what broke him.
Yes.
It's something that, you know, we are taught that we need to have and we must have, and growing up, when you see everybody else with it, you want it too, whether or not
that's
you
true.
know
That's true.
it is gonna work for you, but you want it too. And for Eve, it's clear that she has the support of her mother and her siblings,
But she doesn't have it from her father.
and
That's
it's
what
not
she's
just,
craving.
and it's not just does not have it from her father. Her father is so hateful
about
towards
it, yes,
her.
yes.
You know, and just probably in growing up before that came out in her, the relationship that they probably had, and seeing it turn out into what it turned out into.
Yes,
that could be a very difficult thing for her to deal with, and so all of these things could be why she's craving the love of her father. A second thing that I wanted to pick up from what you just said is that paying attention to our friends, our families, the people around us.
Yeah.
We see a lot of people walking around, Roger, and they are terribly depressed.
Yes.
And then one day you just hear this person take their life or attempt to take their life.
Yes.
There is something called smiling depression, where this person is laughing and smiling and having a good time. And I think Eve might be dealing with smiling depression because she's having all of this, she's doing all of this, but she is dying inside. And a lot of people, and that could have been what the young boy in earlier this year had, because everybody said that, you know, there were moments when he was so lively, but he was so broken inside that he eventually took his own life. And that is something that we need to pay attention to, not because we see somebody laughing and smiling and being the life of the party does it mean that they are okay.
That's very
and so
true.
we need to take the time out to pay attention to our friends, to pay attention to our families. Memes are getting very important in our life these
That's
days.
very true.
And there is one that is going around now that's saying, I'd rather hear your problems, I'd rather listen to your problems than your eulogy.
Yeah,
And I think that is very,
That's
very,
very
important.
important, very important.
And it's unfortunate that in our society we cannot talk to the people around us, because before you say something to somebody, it's out on the street, and you never know who you can trust with what is taking place inside of you. And we need to find a better way to deal with our fellow human beings. We really need to.
Yeah, they say your test can be your testimony. Well, I don't want to be testifying on radio, but you know, it is something that I have been through before, deep, very, very, very deep state of depression, and it almost led to the wrong thing. I am not afraid to, Mr. Magari, not afraid to talk about that. You understand? It almost did lead to the wrong thing, but you know, through the love and support of very, very, very good friends, I would very much like to call them out, but not tonight. You know, they helped me back, and they were there, and they are still there. You know, once in a while they call, they check up, we sit down, have a drink, we talk about it. That's the thing, they talk about it. You know, you have to be open. You have to be open enough to talk about it, and see your progress from where you were to where you're going, and that kind of thing. But you rightfully said it. You rightfully said it. You have to pick your friends very, 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 very carefully, because not everybody that's your friend. And if you think that's your best friend, just remember that there's a meme going around saying that your best friend has another best friend. So you need to be very careful with that kind of best friend and friend thing, and who you confide in and who you don't confide in. Because some people, when you confide in them, they're laughing at you and they say, yes, I want to talk to him or her. And you know,
something else, we have this thing that, like I say to people, there's nothing new that is happening now. Nope. What we have now is the internet and social media and camera phones.
Oh yes.
So a lot of things that would have been swept under the rug or kept quiet, you see it out there on social media, on the internet. But we need to be very careful with that as well, because recording somebody without their permission
is
taking somebody's picture
against
without their permission is against the law.
I have a few
Taking
people
somebody's picture without their permission, recording somebody with your phone without their permission is against the law. You see, the thing is, we do not know the laws of our country, so on 2 counts, we cannot enforce them and we cannot challenge them because we do not know them. So we need to pay very close attention to these things. Let me give you, before we go, let me give you
no, but just before you said about we do not know our laws and we cannot enforce and so on. To me, I remember I remember my grandmother, and when when anybody came from court and said, but somebody said, well, I didn't know that. The magistrate or the judge said, let me tell you something. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. You are a citizen. You are protected under the constitution of the country. You should know your laws. You have an ID card, you're walking around the place, you don't know if a police stop you in town and he asks you for your ID card and you don't have it on you, that he could take you down to the station and and make you sit down there until you can prove or produce your ID card. Not your driver's license, your ID card, your national identification card.
Because you are supposed to be able to identify who you are at all times.
That's right. Just like he's a police officer, if he does not produce his identification, not his ID, his national ID, his police ID. You can tell him, well, excuse me, sir, I don't know that you are a police officer and I'm not going to speak to you anymore. Move in my face.
We need to learn the laws of our country, right? So that we can enforce them or we can challenge them, because there are some laws that we need to challenge, and there are some laws as citizens that we need to enforce. My family and I went on a boat ride, and it was all family together. We had nothing to fear. We had nothing to worry about. So we were having a good time. And, well, my people who know who I am know that I have a brother and a sister who are both police officers. And my brother just got very quiet. And he sat down and he just took this protective position. And struck me, so I went to him and I asked, what's going on? And he said that while we were dancing, a man instructed his wife or girlfriend, I'm not sure which one it is, to record us. And he was just waiting for her to take out the phone to begin recording us for him to go to her, but she never did. Apparently she saw the change in his demeanor as well, and she never did. And people do that, you go out and people just pull out their phones and they take pictures and they do recordings, but you cannot do that. That is against the law. That is infringing on persons' right to privacy, and
even
we
if
need to take those things into consideration.
Even if it is in a public place, that is the person's right to privacy. The person don't want everybody to know that they were hit by a car.
Exactly.
You understand? Why are you sending it to Australia, New Zealand, Timbuktu, and all that? No.
We need to pay attention to all of those things and the laws of our country, and not take those things for granted. We need to learn them so that we can enforce them, and we need to learn them in case we need to challenge them.
Very, very, very good. Well, it was the grand finale. The
time is over.
Yes.
Oh, wow. I was just getting started.
Yes. Well, we can take a few minutes. Take a few minutes. It's the grand finale. Yes, but lessons coming away from the program, of course, leading up into a season 2. Of course, I'm sure persons will want to know.
That's the question on everybody's mind.
Season 2.
When is season 2? They're not saying if there is a season 2. When is season 2 starting?
I join the soaps too. People, when is the season 2?
Unfortunately, at this time, I do not have that information. But we are aware that this has had such an impact on the lives of persons. We are aware that persons have become so invested in the characters that it's like it's old long-time friends when they talk about the characters. And so we understand that it's very important to keep this message going, because it's an important message. It's a recyclable message. It's a message that you can carry every single day of your life. You don't have to be part of a recognized organization for you to advocate for the rights for yourself, your children, and your fellow human beings. So it's a very important message that we need to continue. And during these 16 days of activism, from November 25th to December 10th,
Just
Get
remember,
out there, people.
Just remember, it is human
Advocate
rights.
for your
Day.
rights.
Human rights, your rights.
And on the 10th of December is International Human Rights Day. So you have this 16 days, and the what they are focusing on is gender-based violence.
Gender-based.
Right? For this
Not
year,
just domestic violence, but gender-based
violence. We
Okay?
did that word gender is very
I think
important.
it's important
there.
because people when they think about domestic violence or somebody say gender-based violence, they always go straight back into there's a difference between domestic violence could be a man beating on a woman or a woman beating on a man. Okay, it could be that, but gender-based violence speaks specifically to either of the genders, okay, beating on each other. Okay, gender, male and female, male or female. Okay, male hitting female, female hitting male.
It encompasses everything, and female hitting female and male hitting male.
That's right. Yes,
It's
that is
all
the
of
part. And sometimes we kind of not think of that.
Yes.
that thing. We only think of the male and the female and the female and the male. We try to rule out that part. Like I said, I was going to give you a story about a conversation that I had with some gentlemen by a funeral home in St. Vincent on Friday. So I got there and they were talking about the LGBT QI community in St. Vincent, and one of the men was very, 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 very against LGBT. And I said, gentlemen, may I join your conversation? So two of the gentlemen said yes. The other one looked at me. So I said, don't worry, guys. Don't worry. I said, let me make you understand something, sir. You may not like what they're doing, but it is their choice to do that. Okay? I said, you have choice too, You see, you chose not to like what they're doing. And that's your choice, not to like what they're doing. You think they like what you're doing? Hating on them? They don't like that. Would you want to hate on them? I don't think you want to do that, but it is their choice. Now, and I had to explain to them that they are human beings too. You ever heard the story about the four men and a Rasta? Is it really 4 men and a Rasta? It's 5 men, not 4 men and a Rasta. So you're going to say four men and a gay fella? You can't say that.
Yeah.
It's 5 men. He's still a man.
Yes,
it's his choice to do. It's his right to choose that.
You see, because Roger, we have not yet understood that there is a difference between your sex,
yes,
and your gender.
Yes.
The two are two totally different conversations, right? So a gay man is a man. A lesbian woman is a woman. They're not an animal. They don't walk on 4 legs like we see our dogs and our cows and our goats doing. They're not animals. They are people just like you and me.
Yes. I think what should happen, and coming out from that, and that's my little thing, a little bit more, public service announcements, PSAs. Maybe we should work on some PSAs explaining what gender is and what sex is.
I write was a very big, long PSA.
Yes, it was. But sometimes the little short thing stays in your memory a little bit more, and make it a little catchy. Put a little phrase in there, something like that. Just a suggestion. Yes.
All suggestions are welcome.
Yes. Okay.
All
but it was a
welcome.
pleasure for me hosting this being the host of the I Write program. I learned a whole lot.
I did too.
I am still learning. I still do the research. I still right now I'm because of my days as a Red Cross member. 31 years as a humanitarian. Now, people looking at me and saying, Gasa, you in that too? This one. I said, you could say what you want, but the people have their rights and they're human beings too. Yes. And I cannot, if somebody gets cut or you get stabbed and I have to attend to you, I do not care whether you are on this side or on that side. I see a human being.
Yes.
You understand? That person could be your brother, your sister, your niece. You may not like the person's choice, but when it comes to crunch time and you see that person losing their life, it's a whole different ball game altogether.
The hatred that Lincoln feels towards Eve is almost as if he would see her dying and he would let her die. And I think that is very, very disturbing for her.
Yes,
very disturbing for her. And it gives us a glimpse into the psyche of persons who are dealing with these situations.
Yes.
Because everybody wants to be loved and accepted and know that they are part of something. You know, whether it's family, whether it's school, whether it's church, whether it's whatever. And to have persons hate on you with that kind of hatred, when I look at you and I see you look just like me, the only difference is this one little thing.
Oh, it was a beautiful, beautiful time.
It was a wonderful year and very, very good. This year of doing I Right was very, very inspirational, very educational, even for us. I have heard these episodes so many times in the year that we have been doing it, and I still got goosebumps this evening listening to Eve and listening to Cynthia in the courthouse and the judge. It still affects me.
I'm going to go back and listen to
it. I've read all of the scripts. I was there for the production, and I listened to all of the episodes. I was with Marcellus on RCI, and I'm now here with you, and I am still having this experience.
Oh, okay, all right. All right, okay. Well, we have to stop it. We have to stop it right here. Of course, want to thank each and every one of you, those of our fans who were listening, those of you who were glued religiously, especially Miss Kesia. Yes, good evening to you. I want to thank the folks in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. One of which who actually took something from this program and actually helped her get out. I want to thank each and every one of you for participating, for making your contributions, or for just listening. And of course, we'd like to encourage you always to practice good practice, human rights. You see something that is not right, speak up against it. Okay, it is not good for you to see something and just pass it straight. Speak up, and you do have rights. Don't forget 16 days of activism, of what you said?
Activism.
That's right. December 10th, International Human Rights Day. This is Mr. Macari, of course, along with my co-host Della.
Thank you for having me.
Saying good night, and of course, we hope to catch you again. Of course, and I'm making a prediction here, with season 2 of I Write. Thank you for listening. Bonsoir.